What'd you do last summer?
Last summer,
Mowed lawns, stuff like that? How much do you think you made last summer?
not very much.
What do you think?
Like $100 a week.
$100 a week, so you made about $1,500 or so for the summer. Here's what's pretty cool: is we're talking about you actually earning more in your first week and a half than you made all last summer. Like when you mowed lawns, like what was kind of your work schedule on lawns?
Mow like 3 hours a day, something like that.
3 hours a day, 5 days a week or so. So you're working 5 days a week, 3 hours a day, and we're talking in your first week and a half, you'd make more than all of that, and significantly more as well. I'm not sure. What do you think your mom or dad would say if you came home and showed them 2 paychecks that totaled $2,000? What would they think?
Pretty excited to probably do that.
Okay, well maybe we don't have to tell them about it then, But you're talking about earning $2,000 on there. It's pretty cool when it's your name and then it's like a check and it's a comma check. It's like a 1 or even a 2 and then a comma and then a couple zeros. It's so cool when you get that very first comma check, as well. So you're talking about making $2,000, which is it's significant income, Another thing too, I'm not sure if you realize this, but you would actually pass 4 promotions in your first week and a half. I'm not sure if you thought about how that would actually look on your resume, but think of showing that and going, yeah, I started off and actually passed 4 promotions in my first week and a half. Most people would be pretty impressed, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally, so you got that on there as well. Another thing as well that'd be cool is at this point, you would be at the 30% incentive level for the rest of your career. So literally, you could do 5 to 7 appointments a week, sell $1,000 a week or so, and you make $300 a week. I mean, that's that's 3 times the amount. Literally, you could work a day or 2 days of the week and make triple what you earned last summer in a whole week. It's pretty ridiculous, isn't it?
It's pretty awesome.
Or what you could do is you could work just as hard as you did last summer, and you could make a whole heck of a lot more than that every single week. You can make comma checks every week if you wanted to. If you're like, hey, I'm very financially motivated.
I would love comma checks every week.
Dude, how awesome would that be? And you're setting yourself up from that level too. So that's something to think about too. Another thing is also you would be immortalized in our office. In our offices, what we call the WOF, or that's our Wall of Fame. We have all of our different people who've done 10,000 or more in their first 10 days in their fast start. And literally, let's say you don't work with us forever, obviously we want you to, but even if you didn't, you could then, from then on, people would know about you in every training class. People would always know Eric Tolentino and how he did over $10,000 in your first 10 days. And literally, your tale will be told years to come about the great job that you did. Another nice thing, and this is actually one of the things that's most impressive about it, you would accomplish something that literally only 1 out of about 500 people achieve.
Wow.
I mean, if you think about it from this perspective, how many people graduated with you in your graduating class?
24.
24, okay? So think of your school, how impressive was it for someone to be the valedictorian of your school?
Pretty cool.
Think if your school is 20 times the size and you were the valedictorian. Or 20 of your school's valedictorians and only 1 person could have done it. That's the kind of thing you're talking about achieving. Something very few people ever can accomplish. This is something that'd be an incredible feat as well, which is a big thing. The most important thing, though, that I know that you'd gain by doing this, though, Eric, is you would grow and develop your self-confidence. This is something, by you going out and achieving this, from here on out, you would have so much more self-confidence. You could always look yourself in the mirror for the rest of your life and know when Eric Tolentino needs to put his mind to something, he can do it, always. And that's something that you could achieve by going after this, is from here on out, you will always have that self-confidence that when the chips are down, no matter what, you can always count on yourself for this stuff. So I want you to realize these are some of the different items that you would gain by doing $10,000 or more in your first 10 days. Is this something that, still that you're excited about shooting for? Okay, all right. By the way, if it's not something, I don't want to spend the time on this, but all right, very cool. Well, here's what I want to do is I want to cover with you a plan for for you to achieve it, you know? And what I typically do is I pick one person, like I said, and we cover a specific way for you to achieve it. And there's certain things that I'm going to go through that are expectations that you're going to have to do to really be able to achieve this. I guess first off, I'd like to kind of go through your numbers. So right now, how much have you sold so far?
2,500.
2,500 bucks. And how many orders have you gotten to sell 2,500? 6 orders. And what was the number of demos again? Was it 8 demos? Okay. So there's a couple things that are things to consider. One of them is this. So, and here's something that you're always going to look at from here on. You're going to want to know what your average order is. And your average order, in essence, is how much you sold divided by the number of orders. So right now, for instance, your average order is about $400, give or take a couple bucks. And then the other number that we're going to always look at is what's called your closing percentage. And what a closing percentage is how many people you see versus how many people buy. And you've had 6 out of 8, in essence, that's like 75%. Now, that's where you are, and that's before you even learned a lot of the secret weapon stuff. Do you think you're a little bit better at selling Cutco after learning the secret weapon? Yeah, I mean, that trade special, I'm not sure if you know about this, but your class is rocking. You know, we had 4 different people sell a couple homemakers, and we had a couple more sell galleys on the trade-in right after they learned about it. You know? And so, like I said, your class is going to do really well regardless, but I see that you could do extremely well with this as well. So your numbers more likely will go up, but let's just keep these as conservative estimates, okay? So what that means is this. In essence, you would have to sell another 7,500 to hit the 10,000, or if you kind of went through these numbers, what that means in essence is you'd have to get about 19 orders. Or if we kind of went with that 75% or so, that means you need to do about 25 appointments. So here's the thing I want you to realize. This is the number, the 25 appointments, is the most important number. The reason why is you're going to have some orders that are going to be bigger than $400. You're going to have some orders smaller than $400. You're going to have some demos where you have a sale, some demos where you don't have a sale. Don't worry about that. What you need to worry about, what we're going to focus on from here on out, and this is how you're going to achieve some major accomplishments, is going after the 25 appointments. That's what matters, and that's what we're going to work towards. Is that cool? All right, so I want to go through a couple things for you to be able to get this. So here are some things, and this is what it's going to take for you to achieve these 25 appointments. Number one is you're going to create what I call a hit list. Okay? That's not anything bad. But what a hit list is it's like a top 50 people to see list. And this top 50 people to see list, your number one person on here, this could be like a person who could buy like 2 Ultimate Entertainers, paid in full, no questions asked, you know, most loaded of loaded people you got. All the way down to your number 50 person as well, down below, okay? And what you're gonna do is from here on out, when you make your phone calls, you're gonna start with number 1 and you're just gonna make calls all the way down. And the only time you're gonna stop is when you go to another demo or when you get all the way through the list, then you'll just pick it back up. And then as you see people, you just kind of cross them through and then put someone else into that spot as before. And this is going to be your hit list. So you're going to use this all throughout your fast start. Is that cool? I'll give this to you. All right. So that's one thing. Now, here's the deal though, is if you're serious about this, this needs to be completed by tonight. All right. So like, if you don't do this by the end of tonight, you know, although you told me, hey, this is something I want to do, you're not really making the choices to hit it. So it's not something that I'm really going to see you're really focused on. Is that going to make sense? So tonight, no matter what, I'm going to expect this done. Is that cool? Perfect. Second thing is this. Next thing that you're going to do, that's what it's going to take, is you need to memorize your close and your rec approach. All right, those 2 things are what you're going to need to memorize right away. Do you have your close down memorized word for word, where if you didn't have your training manual, you could do it? Perfect?
I think it's pretty good. Probably not perfect yet.
Okay, no problem. So what we're going to do is before you go to your next demo, after we finish up, we're going to have you go back to the office. I'm going to have you go through it like 3 or 4 times. Just saying out loud, feel kind of goofy, but don't worry about it. And then I'll get your training manual, and then you're going to do it word for me. The reason why is this. We have a compact, limited amount of time. So since we have such a limited amount of time, what we got to do is make sure you're most efficient. And so that means that you need to have this closed down so you can get since it's the most effective way to show and demonstrate Cutco, so that way you can be the most effective possible. Same thing with your recommendation approach as well. So those are going to be 2 of the big things. The third thing that I'm also going to want you to do is I'm also going to want you to share your goal. and you're going to share now.